Sup, dude? NBA players are some of the coolest guys on earth. They have money, fame, height, and they can get pretty much any girl they want. While this is true, a lot of them are also weirdos, like Eddie Griffin for example. No, not that Eddie Griffin, this one. Eddie was the 7th pick in the 2001 NBA draft. He could have gone higher, but attitude problems made him slip down the board. During his 5-year career, he was a solid rebounder and shot blocker, but he wasn't great at multitasking. This was displayed on March 30th, 2006 when he attempted to jack off while driving drunk. The result was he crashed his car into a parked one, then begged the dude whose car it was to not call the cops, promising to buy him a new one. This didn't work. The man called the cops, who arrived and put Eddie in the back of their car to be taken home. He ended up pleading guilty to inattentive driving and paid just $375 in court fees. I feel like he got off pretty easy. Well, I don't actually know if he got off. He probably didn't have enough time before he crashed. Crashing must have been the biggest buzzkill too, because ethics, morals, and laws aside, operating a motor vehicle while playing with your worm has got to be an experience. He went from the thrill of a lifetime to riding in a squad car with blue balls. Hopefully the cops were cool and didn't cuff him so he could try to finish. I'm just kidding. On a much more serious note, about a year later he showed he did not learn his lesson. One late night in the middle of August 2007, he sadly decided to drive drunk again. This time he wasn't beaten off, but it sadly resulted in a fiery crash after he drove into a moving train. Unfortunately, he did not make it. Don't drive drunk, kids. There aren't many who've been bold enough to attempt the booze cruising crank. Rest in peace to a legend. Eddie made a few mistakes in his life, but his impact within hog cranking history will surely never be forgotten. While cranking hog behind the wheel is pretty weird, it's not totally heinous. I can't say the same for what Tom Paine did. The former Atlanta Hawk was a terrifying 7'2" serial rapist. After not only becoming the University of Kentucky's first black player, but also being compared to Kareem, Tom was drafted by Atlanta and played 29 games with them. After that, he would never see the court again because he was sentenced to 5 years in prison for 2 counts of rape and 1 count of aggravated sodomy. After serving his egregiously short sentence, he would go on to terrorize more women and end up right back in prison for another 6 years. The fact that it was just 6 more years was ridiculous because after doing that time, he was once again a free man. With his freedom, he tried to start a boxing career, but he didn't perform well, going 2-2, then sadly attacked yet another woman. This would put him behind bars for the 3rd time. Then after being released, he violated parole and went right back for a 4th. I don't know why they let him out so many times. You'd think the judicial system would give a giant 7'2" extreme sexual threat to society a bit less chances, but I guess not. And get this, he was locked up until they gave him parole in 2019, and former NBA player Dave Bing apparently offered him a job to mentor kids. Dave Bing might be an idiot. You're supposed to keep the sex offenders as far away from kids as possible. Since that story kinda sucked, let me tell you about something that'll bring the mood up. Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a skill-based, real money daily fantasy sports game. It adds a ton of excitement to watching NBA games. How it works is you pick 2 to 6 players and then pick more or less for their Prize Picks projection. Normal entries can win you up to 25 times your money and up to 100 times with the Demons and Goblins feature. I've been using Prize Picks for a while now and I've had a lot of fun, especially recently. I just won $200 thanks to Jokic and KD. If you want to join in on the fun, go click the link in my description and sign up for Prize Picks using code NBAGoober for a first-time deposit match up to $100. Anywho, the next story involves former Denver Nuggets point guard Ty Lawson. You may have forgotten, but from 2010 to 2015, the dude was really good, putting up like 16, 17 points a night and dishing out a ton of assists. After 2015, though, his career went south. Denver had the great Emmanuel Mudiay, so they traded Ty to Houston, and he was never the same. Because his career in the NBA went in the shitter, he decided to take his talents to China to play in the CBA. He spent 3 seasons over there and went crazy, averaging a highly efficient 26-8. You'd think because he was so good the Chinese people would love him, but no, it actually turns out they hate him. This is because back in 2020, he went to a club in China. When he was at that club, he had a blast, posting pictures and videos on his story, including one caption, "Chinese women got cakes on the low." If you don't know what that means, cakes refers to butt cheeks. He was simply just debunking a racial stereotype. The CBA, however, did not think of it that way. They were extremely offended by this and permanently banned his ass. Now, unfortunately, we'll never know if Ty could have become the CBA's GOAT. However, we do have a glimpse at what he was like in college. According to some frat dude on Reddit, his older frat bro went to UNC while Ty was there, and one time Ty ran into their frat house, told all the girls to meet him somewhere, and then stole 2 bottles of Patron and ran out the door. He was a menace. Just like Kwame Brown that one time he went out with his teammates. One late night in Hermosa Beach, California, Kwame, Ronnie Turioff, and Lamar Odom were out together when a man walking down the street with a 2-foot birthday cake saw Ronnie and asked if he would take a picture with him. Ronnie said sure, but then it was reported Kwame went up to the dude with with the cake, took it out of his hands, chucked it at him, and hopped in a limo speeding away. The guy then went up to Odom, confronting him about Kwame in hopes of making things right. This did not go well. Odom's bodyguard decided it was the right course of action to deck him into the street, ending the situation. The whole thing was so random. All the poor dude wanted was a flick with NBA legend Ronnie Turiaf, but he ended up just getting bullied. Like, how did he explain to his friends that Kwame Brown made him wear his own birthday cake? That's wild. Another thing I think is wild is that one time Rodman and Malone for some reason fought each other in the WWE. No clue why this happened, but the two were naturals out there and it was pretty epic actually. Unfortunately though, Dennis did not do very well. He started strong launching this dude across the ring, but then after Carl, who's built like a brick shit house, kicked his ass and everyone else's, including the refs for some reason. He was fighting like the prize was 7 minutes in heaven with a middle schooler. There are a lot of insane things that have happened in NBA history. Let me know some of your favorites in the comments below. Speaking of insane things, how about Kobe's ability to score the basketball? He's arguably the greatest scorer ever. You can click here to watch the video I made on the topic. Thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed. Bye, dude.